for quality management system, which is going to be given by Dr. Dharmendra Pandey, sir. Pandey. He's an experienced educationist and a strategic thinker, having 2 decades of experience in university governance, teaching, academics, administration, applied research, consultancy, quality assurance, alumni relations, and training. He has been associated with some of the best brands and institutions of repute and significantly contributed to their holistic growth through effective leadership roles and team management skills. Yes, in Scopus, UGC, etc. He's presented papers in more than 40 national and international conferences. His doctoral research is in digital marketing. Okay, so we welcome sir, and over to you, sir, for the session. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation.
Okay, am I audible to all? Great. Thank you so much. Accept my sincere thanks to all of you who are present over here and those who have joined online. Let me briefly give you the context why we felt a need to conduct a session on improving quality for administration, especially focusing on administrative functions and processes. Then I also started observing the data which I started receiving through AQF from all the constituents at SI. After observing the data, I found that certain gaps were there. So it was clearly evident there is some missing link between the administrative departments and the IQAC. So we started with QICs, establishing QICs in admin departments. Also, Dr. Rao, a few days back, he approached me and asked me, can we do something for non-teaching staff, awareness about quality at SI? So immediately I said, yes, definitely we should go ahead with this. So this is first session in series of training. So this series of training would be focusing on all the important functions performed by admins and how we can bring quality improvement in all those functions and processes. So when I was given this date, 27th, to have this session, so I conducted pre-session survey. You must have received one Google form link. So 48% respondent, they want training. This is this important information pertinent to HR, learning and development team. So 48% non-teaching staff, they want training in total quality management, quality processes, accreditations and other things. 25% on benchmarking, how they can improve department level work, day-to-day activities, processes, their roles and responsibilities, how they can be more collaborative. And third, they want to enhance their technical proficiency. Excel, database management. In this survey, I also included one question related to your proficiency level of Excel. So 3 options were given: basic, advanced, and I don't know anything about Excel. So findings, and I will try to touch upon these points. What is quality means to us, and why any higher education institution need accreditation and rankings. Different accreditation bodies, including, there are so many, but here I want to focus on Naac, NRF, Aishe, QS, and ARIA, because the awareness level is not same for all of us. So this session is introductory session. So I would make you aware about what we are doing in this and how you can improve upon it. What quality assurance means for admin, and what are the way forward, what we should do in future. So are you with me, everyone? Yes or no? Great. Thank you. So what quality means as a general parlance and for institution? Quality, I will not go to bookish or research-based definitions, but it's basically your fitness level. Fitness for what? Fitness to achieve a purpose. So every higher education institution has, broadly, they should have a purpose. And usually is whether we are fit for this purpose or not. Quality assurance, it's a process, continuous process of continuous improvement. So every functions which we perform at university, whether it's admin, academic, it should have a incremental improvement and longitudinal improvement. If I say incremental means, let's say, for example, if you have a QIC at constituent, so every quarter there should be improvement shown. That is incremental improvement. Longitudinal is like AQR. AQR is to report the longitudinal improvement. SSR is a longitudinal improvement. What we have improved over a set period of time. Incremental is continuously from previous agenda. Assessment, it's a process of evaluation of performance of an institution of higher learning based on certain established criteria. So you all know we have 7 criteria in Naac. So what is criteria here? It's a predetermined standards. When we say standards, it's directly relevant to functioning of the department at minimum acceptable level of desired quality. If you see the establishment of UGC, UGC is one of the oldest statutory body of government of India. And one of the mission of UGC is to maintain minimum standard of higher education in India. So assessment is having the objective of maintaining that minimum standard. So assessment is the evaluation of that, whether you are achieving that standard or not. Criteria is the standard, and it is the basis of the accreditation, your identity. That means A++ or A. That is, you have a set level of standard you have achieved. So accreditation is the scheme, quality assurance scheme, wherein a certification is accorded with a validated stated period. Naac we got how many years? 7 years, because of continuous highest grade for 3 consecutive cycles. So Naac says if you have achieved 3 highest grades in 3 cycles, you will be given 7 years validity. That means for 7 years, Naac assumes that you have demonstrated your highest standard, A++. Now you will maintain that for next 7 years. Right? And if you observe the last statement, that is very relevant to all of us. If you have read a book by Joseph Murphy, The Power of Subconscious Mind, if you attach, because 90% of the work which we do consciously is because of trigger from our subconscious mind. So the quality at any institution should imbibe subconsciously. How it can be achieved? When we do something correctly, subconsciously, when it becomes part of quality culture. So definition of quality culture is when you do quality stuff, desired standard you achieve subconsciously. It will automatically reflect in your conscious actions. That is your admin functions, academic functions, and processes. Are you with me, everyone? Great. Thank you. So that leads to quality consciousness. One of the important objective of any quality department in any university is to quality conscious. There are other terms which we use in quality context, that is quality sustenance. So whatever we have achieved, we have to maintain that sustenance. Quality enhancement is nothing but the improvement. Notions of quality, it's a general mistake we commit. As a faculty, I would say generally, I have seen certain evidences from constituents where when they have devised any policy, they have mentioned by mistake, they have mentioned student as a customer. Generally, we commit this mistake. Please don't do this. Students cannot be customer because we accept that quality has been derived from quality for industries, but they have corporate social responsibility. They have economic perspective. But when we talk about higher education, we have societal perspective. So we cannot equate citizens with customers, at least in higher education context. So it's completely not appropriate to say we are serving customers. Whether it's private or government university, we are producing citizens. So why it is important here? Please understand the notion of quality. When we talk about quality in industry, it is about the products, services which we produce should have acceptable standard, quality checks. But for us, higher education institution, it's the output is your human resource, which is a citizen, responsible citizen. So that becomes very critical job for all of us because we have a responsibility in higher education institution. If you see, that should reflect into mission and vision of any university. So if you connect with previous slide with our mission and vision of Symbiosis International University, that is reflect. And as a matter of fact, any university should reflect this. So if you paid attention to this mission and vision, if you carefully observe, your vision itself says quality education. So if you talk about mission, it's actionable function which we perform to translate this mission and vision in our day-to-day activities. So we should all be, and I'm very happy to see in the survey that 92% our staff is well aware of mission and vision. Why do we need accreditation and ranking for higher education institution? What is the need of it? काम अच्छा चल रहा है, बच्चे आ रहे हैं, admissions हो रहे हैं. Why we need it? Yes, every higher education needs to have maximum possible accreditations. There is still, I can see lots of international accreditations where other universities have gone, but still we have to, in future, we have to go for it. Like, for example, WSC accreditation, which is widely recognized in Western countries, which Symbiosis not have gone for. So in future, we have to think for those also. But why we have to go for all these things? Because it helps your citizens, your students, because they are at the crossroads where to go. So if you have to compile the benefits, there are n number of benefits. List is not exhaustive, but these are few points. So you get to know your function, get to know your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and you can review and improve your internal areas, planning and resourcing of the allocation, collegiality, funding agencies. When NRF was launched, when the ministry was talking about what future progression we can look for. So one of these, these agencies also helps government to give the degree of autonomy and funding to the universities that decided by your accreditation and rankings. Institutions to initiate innovative and modern methods, new sense of direction. Society look for reliable information. Employers look for reliable information. And believe me, I was also one of the members of establishing department in my previous organization, that is placement cell in our institute. And when I started progressing the tying up with the corporates, definitely they look for what is your recognition, accreditation and all. And even they are well aware of the grades and scores also, but that reflects the quality. You cannot ignore that. So inter-institutional interactions. If you see in India, there are many other bodies also, but primarily we divide all these accreditation, ranking, and executive bodies into categories, national and international. In national, we have UGC. UGC has a long history, already told you. If you have read UGC Act, there are almost 28 sections, and 12A, 12B, every university is concerned with the funding. Miscellaneous power and functions up to 27 sections. If you read it, you will get the vision, mission, and how they are translating that into those 28 sections of UGC. So pretty old, and we all have to abide by this statutory body of Government of India. AICT having very clear mission. Two parameters they are looking, they want to improve, that is technical education and socio-economic development. All their missions are deriving from these two. NBA is one of them. So they are accrediting programs also through NBA. Anybody is requesting me to control my screen. Should I accept it? Okay, I'm declining it. Okay. So we have NIRF. You all know. I will get back to all these rankings one by one. We have Naac. We have Aishe, Atal ranking. And international, we have QS, THE, and many, many more. So I will be covering few of them, which are prominently being recognized nationally and internationally. So okay, let's start with the Naac. Naac, you all know. So everybody is well aware of Naac, except for specific 7 criteria, which I will just briefly highlight those who don't know. Its primary role is to both, because I have given you the definition. Assessment also, accreditation also. They involve in both. Naac is changing rapidly. So today we have A++, 3.56 score, but next cycle might be possible that we have binaries for sure. That is, there won't be any A++ or A. We have binary, accredited or not accredited, but we have program specific accreditations. So binary plus program specific is the future. And Naac, IQAC is the mandate of Naac, where every university institute in India has to abide by that. So IQA is the primary component of any university, where records, disseminate records, present the entire quality initiatives of any university. So for admin, it was missing here. So we have included QIC in that. So we will start, expediting it. And if you combine the role and mission, the expected outcome they expect is quality enhancement at the institution level in all 7 criteria. Now, if you see the 5 major goals of Naac, which should be translated through the outcome of 7 criteria. So you should contribute to national development, and you should foster global competency among students. And these are few parameters which you can read on the right. You should inculcate value system. Now, NEP is focusing more on this, where Indian knowledge system is being included, is one of the, in fact, the UGC monitoring portal has 10 parameters, where every higher education institution to report to them, promoting the use of technology and quest for excellence. So these are main values and goals and parameters. If you see the 7 criteria: curricular aspects, teaching and learning evaluation, research, consultancy, extension, infrastructure and learning, student support and progression, governance, leadership, institutional values and best practices. So heads of the admin functions, many of you were engaged in data collection and sending to QMB. So you must have gone through entire process of Naac. So, but based on survey, I thought I should share these specifics also because 41% people are not aware about the all 7 criteria. So if you see the scoring, major contribution goes from research. In fact, in latest manual, they have made some changes to marks allocation. Very soon, I would be sending a mail to everybody with the changes in marks. So research contributes the most. And in coming slides, I will show you the matrix parameters with reference to admin functions. So 150 for curricular. Curricular is one of the aspects where it should be continuously upgraded. Universities, they always try to bring international curriculum experts, international experts, so that the curriculum should represent entire all sections of societies, other countries as well, because now you are international university, so from everywhere students are studying with you, so curriculum should be international. So I will skip this. Any doubts you can. How should we take questions at the end, Shelja? At the end? Okay. Or you can type your questions in the chat box also if you want. We will try to address them at the end. Then we have research and infrastructure, 4th criteria. Then we have 5th criteria, student support and progression. Student support and progression is one of the criteria where maximum intervention from admin functions comes in. So whether it's alumni or supporting in 511, 541, 542. Nilesh ji is here, so he knows governance, leadership and management, again, very important, how leadership flows from top to bottom and how much autonomy and how admin functions also fabricated in the flow of leadership from top to bottom. So financial management, resource mobilization across all functions, IQAC systems, it's again, taken care by us. Values and best practices, again, it's an AP requirement, and in future, we may have more parameters in this. If you see the total compilation, we have total 7 criteria, 34 key indicators, categories of questions, and total 32 qualitative and 55 quantitative. So qualitative is when you have to answer it in a subjective way or in 500 words in text, and evidences need to be provided. And quantitative, so this was all about Naac. Now, NRF. NRF, if you talk about Naac, Naac, you must be aware how we are progressing it. So definitely we got the highest grade, but still, if you do the benchmarking with other universities who are better than us in terms of scores, because we got 3.56. So on certain criteria, we are missing still, right? Because there is a gap of, I would not name other universities who are good in research. Research is one of the areas where we are lacking. And so we have, I have already done some homework where we should improve, especially criteria 1, 2, and 5, and 3. So especially 3 and 5 are main areas of concern where we want more active contribution from admin function as well. So now come back to NRF. NRF is very important for any institution because students' perception is greatly affected by NRF, especially the students who are in other, especially semi-urban. If you talk, because if you read the literature, the perception is greatly affected to these areas. So we should not talk about the getting perception oriented influence, but overall, definitely it plays a very important role in attracting students to the right university, because it also symbolizes we are very good at our all the, we have 5 parameters. If you see that they are very common parameters with NAC. If you have to combine all parameters of all the accreditations we have today, which we are going to discuss today, there are around 380 indicators. 380, sorry, metrics, around 380. And QMB department has done, is preparing one inclusive template. So we have found almost 380 metrics. So out of these 380 metrics, around 70% metrics is from NAC. So if you are doing your NAC properly, that will suffice the requirement of other accreditation bodies as well. So that's why when you have to keep order in order of preference in terms of documentation requirements and evidences management. So if you are doing NAC wonderfully, it will help in other accreditation. So NRF has 5 parameters: teaching, learning resources, research, professional practice, graduation outcome, outreach, inclusivity, and perception. I will talk about perception especially at the end. Specifically in these, we talk about teaching, learning, very similar to our criteria 2 in NAC. So student strength, it consider doctoral students also, faculty student, combined metric for faculty with PhD, financial resources utilization, and online education. Research, publication, citation. So I will not much focus on this because I'm focusing on admin functions. But yes, you cannot ignore you are not isolated with any of the metrics. Admin function always contributes in all of these. It's a maintaining of documentation and all, you are there. But in few metrics, you are directly dealing with, I will share in coming slides. So outreach, inclusivity, graduation outcomes, and perception. Perception is a challenge. If you compare the score of SIU with top 5 NIF ranked universities, you will find that the parameter in which we are lacking is, number 1 is research and professional practice. Perception. Perception, as an admin, you have to play a greater role in that. I will share with you why. But if you see the score of perception, out of 100, 30% allocated to accreditation, other accreditations, including NAC. And 70% is your peer perception. Industry, academics. So it's a huge marginal score. Now THE, Times Higher Education rankings, it was one of the impact rankings. THE and QS both deals in impact ranking as well. So here, if you see the criteria very briefly and quickly, teaching 30%, research, citations, industry, international outlook, and industry income. Gradually, we have seen a trend in these accreditation and ranking is internationalization component is increasing. So alumni who are overseas, how many alumni are there overseas? For you, sir, I had attended one workshop of UGC. It is in deliberations where now one of the parameter in upcoming NAC would be how many alumni are in foreign overseas and how many they are contributing to India. So vice versa. There is one component might be. So now accreditation ranking are giving importance to international. So these were Times Higher Education. If you see QS very important ranking, I would say, because now especially if you want to be truly international, you should be in US anyhow. And if you see the SIU, I don't know whether you have regularly visit the ranking page or not. If SIU is in 350 to 400 rankings. So in terms of Asia, so it publishes rankings, Asia rankings. Then they also Southern Asia rankings. So there are various types of rankings they publish, but definitely international space. If you have to attract more international students, this ranking plays a very vital role in that. So they have also 6 important parameters: academic reputation, employer reputation, research citations, faculty student ratio, international student and international faculty ratio. Aishe, All India Survey of Higher Education, 2010-11. Since then, the sole objective is to record all the higher education institution create a database and get some data on certain parameters and do the analysis how our higher education is going ahead, how it is basically serving in terms of gender parity, in terms of student enrollment. So gross enrollment ratio, all these data is coming from Aishe. So we have to regularly give this data to Aishe, and it is so comprehensive that it's again equivalent to Naac, and it's a more of a database management by Government of India. ARIA, Atal ranking of institutions on innovation achievements. Symbiosis is being ranked in top 10 in this. And the indicators is budget, expenses, support, and revenue generated. So infrastructure and facilities to support awareness activities of promoting idea generation, entrepreneurship development and its promotion, intellectual property, technology transfer and commercialization, innovative learning methods and courses, and governance of the institution. So all have different components you can see on the slide. So I have covered almost all prominent, I've given you just brief, because this is introductory session, so I have not gone deeper into all those. Just to make you aware who are the, another important thing which we all should be aware is UN Sustainable Development Goals. In short form, we always say SDGs. So today, all programs, courses, events, in fact, all activities, ideally, it should be aligned with SDGs. Because 2000, and government, all the, if you see, the ranking accreditations and all the prevailing accreditation ranking agencies in India also aligning with these 30. What's a UN mandate? So you have to align with it. So out of these 30, maybe in future you might see ranking in that. Might be possible. But broadly, you have to align your all educational practices, outcomes with this. So briefly, you can have a look at these 30. I will not read one by one to them. You just have a look. Now, if you come in a nutshell, if you have to summarize all the rankings which I just shared, the parameters. So if you list all the parameters, all of them not include all of them. So if you see Naac has the first 5 or 6, and then this is just to give an idea that some are mutually exclusive and some are inclusive. So just to make you a general understanding that the parameters and how in which what parameters are being given. I will share these slides with you for a better reference. If you see the admin, now come back to admin function for which we are here. So if you have to consolidate key performance indicators of admin function of universities, these are broadly KPIs. This list is again not exhaustive. And on the right side, because one of the question was your awareness related to admin manual. Surprisingly, many of you were not aware about admin manual. So it's my humble suggestion that, in fact, I will request registrar office also that we all should be aware about our relevant concerned policies for our functions. So just briefly, I have listed the KPIs and relevant policies, guidelines, codes from of SIU. For governance, let's say, because governance is again 7.1, criteria 7 deals with the governance. So it should translate into your autonomy is part of that, your transparency part of that. So your MOA, your admin manual, your code of conduct of governing bodies and officers. All these consolidated policies should include all the governance policies. So if you are not aware, please go through that. Every employee should be aware. At least for admin function, you should be aware about admin manual. Right? For human resource management, human resource policy manual, policy on grievance redressal of employees. You know, when I joined here, मेरा तो हुआ नहीं था ना induction, so Dr. Hardik did induction for me, and also I got HR manual. So HR should also look for whether the manual is being read or awareness after this. So it's not like they're circulating the manual or guidelines, whether it's being read by somebody or not. Even as a matter of fact, I am not aware about the HR manual contents. So I might be many more cases. So it's our duty as a self-motivated people, we should read on our own. It's my fault that I have not read it. I accept that, but we all should be aware. Right. So financial management, we have policy SOP for central purchase. We have student services. We have policies for library manual, IT policies, policy on e-governance. I don't know whether you were aware or not about all these policies we have in place. And if you read them, you will get clarity on the functions and processes. And even forget all these policies, please start reading your admin manual. For us, for example, for QMB, we have quality policy. So quality policy, if you read it, it explains entire functioning of QMB. Not only functioning, but the purpose of existence, the objectives, everything. And how your mission, vision of SIU translated through these policy documents. Can I move ahead? So there are certain parameters to admin, if you see. And I have mentioned the criterias. And on the rightmost column, because Naac has recently disclosed the benchmarks, so I have commented from them. So if you talk about IC support, so directly impacted by admin as the ICT, a percentage of classrooms, seminar halls, ICT-enabled facilities, LCD, smart board, in workable condition. And when I take QIC of constituents, so criteria for infrastructure, when they share that we have implemented this and this and this, we have implemented software. So when I ask them, okay, you have implemented it, very good. What was the purpose of this installation of the software? They said, it was just told to us. But the point is, none of the 7 criteria should be worked isolated way. So this is the mistake which we commit. So infrastructure requirement is derived from teaching learning requirement, isn't it? So if latest software we have to install and that is costing us, so what was the problem faced by the constituent and what purpose it was solving, and after implementation it should be closed, loop should be closed also. What learning enhancement is we have achieved, what improvement, quality improvement we have achieved through this. So that's why in QICs I always give this suggestion to document it, the improvement through these infrastructure support which we provide on need based. Decentralized 612. Effective leadership is reflected in various institutional practices. HR perspective 631. You should have a performance appraisal. We all have promotional avenues, effective welfare measures. So anything which any welfare measures need to be recorded. And it's not like one-time welfare measure. We all, department-wise, we all should have a series of steps which broadly divided into certain, let's say, welfare measures. So welfare measures related to well-being, health well-being, emotional well-being, or let's say anything. You have to categorize and document it in a series of broader categories. That will help us to do the analysis. Professional development skill, very important. This is one of the event, is part of professional development skill. So 633, average number of, if you see the benchmark, Naac says more than 60% staff should have gone through your professional development, at least one professional development activities in every year. So in 5 years, you have to give this in SSR. Every year, you have to give number of events which you have organized. But in SSR, you have to, if you have greater than 60% of the staff, that means 4 marks, right? For example, in technical proficiency 513. So your department should regularly, in collaboration with HR or learning and development, should go for capacity development programs. And because on all the 4 types, you should be involved, your staff should be involved in soft skills training, language communication skills, because any of the missing, we will lose marks. Because Naac says full out of full only if all the 4 types of training is being given to all the staff. Got the point? Are you with me, everyone? Great. Internal audits, 644-716, gender equity, code of conduct, at least it should be presented as a manual in your department. It should be there on the shelves every time. At least in your departmental website, if it is present, it should be hosted. Code of conduct. And your institute should ensure the adherence of the compliance and professional ethics. And in case, if you see how you can contribute all of this information which I have given now, how at your individual level, how you can contribute towards quality improvement from non-teaching departments. So, first of all, it's not individual's job. It's collective efforts we have to put. How? You all collectively, first of all, 0 pending file policy. It should be there. And when we say a 0 pending file policy, linger on the process, pending tasks should not be there. So I think it is must. Accuracy, completion of work on time, communication, attendance. These are things which we all, we are all following it. Time management, judgment, problem solving, job knowledge, adaptability. All these are general things which you are following. Benchmarking, very important. Benchmarking of the best practices. If any of the departments having any practice, any innovative or initiative which brought significant improvement in processes, that need to be recorded. And if it is benchmarked, well and good, because then we can include that into our best practices, and that should be recorded through quality improvement cells to IQAC. Because unless and until it is recorded under IQAC, then we can include that into best practices. So when we say benchmarking, so benchmarking, three ways we do benchmarking: internal benchmarking, external benchmarking, and strategic benchmarking. So for you as an admin function, I think because every department is unique in their own way, very unique KRAs you have. So internal benchmarking and strategic benchmarking, external benchmarking, sorry, both you can do. Internal you cannot do, but external you can do. Internally is because you are unique. So you have to find out the practices which are unique and good and find out, compare with other universities. And if it is, you think that it should be recorded and bring to IQAC, please do it. And continuously it should be. And if you look at the definitions of best practices of Naac, so here are, it should add tremendous value. Value to what? Human life and as a whole, as a broader perspective. And in day-to-day life, it should improve your ease of working, your processes, and ultimately, because of that, output. So quality and excellence, that leads to quality and excellence. If you have to record the best practices, these 5 stages you can follow. So first, identify, then implement, institutionalize, internalize, and dissemination. So this is a typical implementation process we have to follow, and that each step should be recorded well. And then it should come to QIC. For peer perception in NRF, you remember 100 marks, peer perception. Why I'm including a separate slide on this? Perception is reality. So because 65% of the survey respondent are directly dealing with the students. And as a matter of fact, we all interact with industry guests, we all interact with external stakeholders. So we are important touch point with external peer groups. So how we function, how we satisfy them on various parameters becomes very critical for peer perception. So we cannot ignore the contribution of non-teaching in creating positive peer perception. So what are the factors which influence perception? So we all know all these things, but you have, whenever you are dealing with any external stakeholders, please be vigilant that you are creating a peer perception, because ultimately when we share the survey with them, it all matters. They don't actually, when we say any foreign expert is coming and admin function is catering to the basic hospitality, right? This is not written in books, but let me tell you with my experience, when they go with your admin function, give them basic experience. So they carry that perception that significantly impact their feedback once we share feedback with them. So admin function directly, indirectly deals with stakeholders. So alumni plays significant role in peer perception scores. Why I'm emphasizing on, because we in NRF, if you see the progression of SIU, 2019 rank was 56. In 3 years, it has progressed not as we expected. 56, 48, 42, 32. But if you compare with other relative private universities, some of they have jumped from 58 to 22. I hope you understood what I'm saying. And one of the components which we are suffering is because of peer perception, which we are losing marks. Peer perception and research. So I'm emphasizing again on peer perception, please. And we are as a support function, we have to take care of that. So how to deliver quality work? So certain important points at the end. You have to hold yourself a high standard, whatever you do. It starts from your commitment and determination to the job, the best of your abilities. If every individual having different abilities, efficiency, but we have to produce same effectiveness. To do that, if you have area of improvement, please let us know. We will arrange training programs and everything to bring you on the same level. But effectiveness should also be internally benchmarked, and everybody should equally perform. And that is possible only when we find our own areas of improvements and abilities and improve upon it. Walk the extra mile. Always look at bigger tasks. These are the training to give you that bigger goal, bigger task. Always keep in mind, don't run away from additional responsibilities. I believe me, any additional responsibilities will give you more learning to handle multiple functions, and also you can contribute more effectively. Recognize your mistakes and corrective actions. There is no harm in, and this is how we evolve. It's an evolution process. We cannot be, it's always a good opportunity to learn. But mistakes should not be undetected. As a quality person, if any mistake is evident and unnoticed and evident but not rectified, will create more trouble for us as a quality person. Right? If we say it was noticed and effort being put, but result is not good, that's still acceptable. But if it went undetected or detected but did not corrected, then it problematic thing for us. Then we have to handle as per protocols. So as an individual, we have to be very careful about the mistakes. Work with your team, stay focused and follow your schedule. There are other points which might relevant. All of us are doing our job, but there are some suggestions. Right? Avoid idle chat, drama, gossips. I didn't want to include it, but believe me, it happens. When we are here for, let's say, 9 to 5 or what, 100% commitment is required. There is no negotiation in that. In fact, I, myself and Dr. Hardik both always try to do this, that our staff should always continuously learning and committed towards our goal, because we have hell lot of work to be tackled, because we are handling enormous data evidences at a SIU level. So we cannot afford to have idle time. So even if you have idle time, you utilize it. These are the thrust areas where we should be focused. So we should be working towards adequacy of infrastructure and ICT facilities for teaching learning. We should support the teaching learning. Teaching and non-teaching. Teaching staff, the amount, the proportion of time they devote in admin function is the wastage of time for them. Because teaching functions should involve in on knowledge generation and dissemination. That's it. They're supposed to do two things. The rest of the things should be handled by us. So if we are not doing our job effectively, we are eating their time. So if they are doing their admin stuff, we are not doing justice to our roles. So we have to minimize their admin time, and we have to do our job effectively so that it should be maintained. Linkage between IQAC and admin functions definitely must. So whatever you do, document it. Whatever you document, please do it. And please report to QIC in every. So we are institutionalizing it very, we have already done it. So regularly we will be meeting Code of conduct, nothing to, we all are mature enough to understand this. And code of conduct should be accessible. Policy document on this should be accessible to all. This is my request. And this is applicable to every single employee of SIU. Grievance handling procedure, very important, that should be in place, because ranking accreditation, they put much emphasis on this, that how your staff grievances related to, even related to the grievances related to policy, that also be recorded. So dissatisfaction with any HEI's policy should also be, there should be a mechanism. So receive, review, resolve, prevent, hierarchy, appeal. So how it is being done, adhered to your department, that's also be looked after. So way forward, this is the last slide of the day. These are few things we should be take care in future. You should review functions. We all, in fact, should review our function processes and align them with mission, vision, and core values of SI. Every step which we take, every day-to-day activity should be aligned with mission and vision. Improve technical skills and professionalism. Technical skills is must. Nothing to say on this. You all well know that, future cannot, it's not like that things like chat GPT will replace. No, that's not possible. That's a gimmick. But definitely employees with more technical skills will be preferred. Identify deviation gaps, areas, improvement, and improve as soon as possible. Plan, create, disseminate, and follow your activity calendar. In fact, many constituents, I notice, they don't have academic calendar, but it's a must. Please, if you don't have, please create it. And every staff should abide by, plan it in advance and follow it meticulously. Report improvements, best practices to IQAC through QIC, already told this. And do what you document and document what you do. I want to conclude my session with one statement which I, as a quality person, I personally follow. And I follow it like a Bhagavad Gita. As we in God, we trust. But for rest of the things, I personally trust on data. Thank you so much. Any questions? Any questions in the chat box? Can you check it? I don't know how to see it here. Let me close it.
Off campuses, if you have questions, you can type it in the chat box.
Okay, I have prepared one assessment also. Because is it ready? Share kar diya? Shalja ma'am, it's up to you when you want to share it, because I'm done. I'm waiting for the questions. If not, then we can share the assessment. We have prepared just 10 questions. Yeah, please, sir.
Thank you, sir. Very eye-opening session, I must say. And congrats to you and Hardik. I have a suggestion, not a question really. On your slide number 30 and 29. On slide 30, you have listed all the policies that are required or existing, and you mapped it very well to the to certain areas. In your subsequent trainings, if we can map alumni engagement policy also in one of these areas, it does exist. We have written it a couple of years before. And so that also will come here and people are aware. Because as you very rightly pointed out, from area to area, where alumni are important for perception, where alumni are important, beyond placement, you spoke about many things. And that's one of our challenge also. When we create alumni engagement, we also have got feedback that beyond placement, what you are going to do. So our entire strategy is revolving or evolving around that. So one suggestion is slide number 30. If we can add the policy of alumni engagement and make it, formal. Only one customization might be required there, because we have prepared a policy encompassing all Symbiosis alumni. We may extract out only for constituent of SIU. So that is what my team will do, and they will send it to you for review. So that's one suggestion. And on 29, yes, here also, if you can map, because alumni engagement doesn't map, directly as it does in 5.4.1, 5.4.2. So here also, if we map where in perception, where in, then we will take it forward. We at SCI will take it forward as to how to create those perceptions, why employer perception is important from alumni starting. Because you are having a very pivotal position and apex body of quality. So that is where, if you help us to map that for everybody, we will come up with certain trainings, digital efforts that we are doing to connect those all along.
No, thanks for sharing this, Dr. Nilesh, because this is just indicative slide which I have prepared. It just does not reflects the entire gamut. But for your information, when I shared initially, if you remember, I have mapped more than 380 metrics covering all accreditations, possible accreditations, and perception is one of them. Alumni related metrics, one of them. So once I complete this exercise, I have set my own target, that is mid of April. I should be able to map that inclusive template. Then I will going to share with all the directors and head of the institutions for their feedback. In that, you can suggest these things and I will incorporate that. It's a ambitious exercise which we QMB people are doing it under the guidance of Dr. Hardik. So let's see, hope it works. So we are trying our level best to map all these things. So regarding policy also, that because again, the list is indicative only. It does not include all the policies, but definitely if you have suggested that we should have mapping like this, it will help. If you think so, definitely we can go ahead. Sure, we will do that. Thanks. Yeah. When we talk about peer perceptions, since my long 10 years of experience, personally, I felt that non-teaching staff is not given due importance as compared to teaching staff. I think this is, I'm fully on this. That's why the intent of this session. I wanted to bring this to on record. Yes, admin because we are here to societal perspective hai hamara, Symbiosis ka, any university ka. But student experience, peer perception, things like these, without admin function, without support function, without support services, it's quite impossible. We are talking, so I'm fully agree with this statement. What do you say, Dr. Hardik? Exactly. So that's why, yeah. Thank you. So thanks for this comment. And we will take it very positively from here. Okay. Yeah, among 7 criteria of Naac, which is the most important one? So, it is very relative question for any institution. For example, any institution who is in rural area, for them infrastructure would be more important because they are struggling with that. For a university like us, we are struggling with research because we have ample faculty is here, but research output is relatively low. That's why we are suffering with rankings. So every institute, every higher education institution have their own importance given to criteria based on their situation, in which dimensions they are living right now. So it's not that which one is important. Every criteria is important. Any other question? So you received a Naac A++ up to which year it's valid? 2029. A number of AQR would be submitted. That is because we have given 7, so -1, 6 AQR should be submitted. But that is on record as per Naac. But next year Naac will change their guidelines. We don't know. They will say, okay, sare lene. Kya karenge aap? So every AQR. And in fact, when I was attending a workshop, they said we are developing a software to connect all the AQRs where we fetch the consolidated data. So it might be possible that SSR might end. In that way, if that happens, then every AQR would be significant. So we cannot say, so that's why I'm emphasizing that please submit AQR with full sincerity. Every AQR. So somewhere down the line, we have to minimize this gap between teaching and non-teaching staff. They both have very different roles, but they complement each other for a common goal, for the purpose of any HEI. Yeah, sir.
Any impact of ChatGPT in our accredited data submission in next few years?
A natural language processing. This is the technology behind it. The challenge which it immediate poses for teaching fraternity. Because teachers should be smarter than ChatGPT in terms of doubt clarification and all these things. But teacher cannot be replaced for sure. But for non-teaching staff, ChatGPT, I think you should start using it because it can help you in many things, right? You can ask some suggestions to ChatGPT, but you should not, should not find the shortcuts through it. But it's not a threat. I would say it's not a threat at all.
She's asked by those bodies, Naac, AKR, those will be changes or those will be more challenges to us for the submission time.
No, ChatGPT is entirely different thing because it deals with the data which it has from public domain. Accreditation ranking is up to institutional level. We have to continuously work internally. So it's about internal benchmarking and everything. So software can facilitate, not ChatGPT.
I think the AI is already having an impact. So if you really look at Naac, the way in which now they are doing the DVV, it is based on AI. So we did experience this, that when we submit the document, if it doesn't have the right keywords, it says that these documents are not valid, right? While in reality, they are valid documents. So we have to explain. So obviously the learning for us is that, we should use right words in certificates, in everything what we do. And we have been doing it, we have been issuing guidelines on that.
These agencies, yes, he rightly said, these agencies, AI, ChatGPT is different. He's talking about AI. AI definitely, it helps everybody. So all these agencies are implementing it in analysis of the data information which we are sending. They can do their own conclusions. So definitely future is there. So they will use for analysis. For us, as of now, we have to focus on data, what we are doing and documenting it and improving it. Any other questions? A professional certified training session on communication skills, organization behavior, etc. should be planned for non-teaching staff. It should be evaluated during ER process. NT staff should be encouraged. Very good suggestion. I think Shailja ma'am would be on the same page on this. We have already discussed on this. So HR should initiate this. So QMB would be ready to help for anything related to quality of. Every individual should be given his job description according to his or her designation prior to joining. Again, HR question. Okay. Anything else? I think we can conclude today. Assessment, because shared? Already shared. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, you will receive a link, a Google form link where questions.
Sir, that is on slide, that is Ministry of Education.
Please.
Ministry of Education and Ministry of HRD Development. So as per my knowledge, that is the two ministries are same. But in the slides there, you have mentioned that is two ministries. So confusion is in my mind.
Ministry of Education and MHRD. Let me get back to on this because I have to, because they both are different.
No, sir.
But they are interrelated. Let me get back to on this. I cannot comment right now. Dr. Hardik, you want to say something on this? MHRD and MOE? Exactly.
Yes, merge, sir.
So we have to look at it. What is the current
Education
situation?
only.
Thanks for bringing this to notice. We will
Okay,
get back to you on this.
It's my suggestion only.
A regular session and information regarding quality development as per organization team will definitely help. Thanks for this suggestion. We will try our level best to organize more such sessions. Okay, let me take this opportunity to announce, because when we got these responses from survey, we found one of the immediate need is Excel. Be organizing advanced Excel workshop for all of non-teaching admin staff. Thank you. Details will be shared soon. Thanks, sir. Thank you so much. Welcome.
So you all can send it tomorrow then. Okay. Yeah, tea arrangements are made outside. So you can-
Thank you very
sir.
much, everyone. Thanks for a patient listener. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.